If you've ever thought about getting your body from looking like this to looking like this, then one option would be to bulk, to increase your muscle mass, to slowly diet and then remove all the excess fat that you've gained. But there is another option, and it's called a body recomposition, which is the exact same but in reverse. And it means that you won't ever have to get fat, and you can even build muscle at the same time. Have you ever noticed how some people look much bigger even though they weigh less? And it's not magic, and it's not always steroids. If you take Zac Efron from Baywatch, everyone's in the crowd shouting steroids. And honestly, he's got a great physique, but the truth is he's 150 pounds at like 5'10", which is not big at all. Because he's so lean and there's so little fat covering his muscles, it makes him look bigger. It's like an optical illusion. And this is why, in my opinion, a body recomposition is the best way to diet for the majority of people. So to do this, the first thing you need to know when you're doing a body recomposition is we need to burn fat, we need to be in a calorie deficit. Whichever diet you choose, it adheres to the rules of thermodynamics, which means that everything sits within the calories in, calories out equation. If you do keto, carnivore, vegan or vegetarian, if you eat too many calories of that particular food, you're gonna put on fat. So if you aim for a calorie deficit between 5 and 20%, this will enable you to lose fat without significantly compromising on muscle protein synthesis. Aim to get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, which means that if you're sitting at 200 pounds, you would eat 200 grams of protein daily. And it also helps with satiety, which means that you'll feel fuller for longer. And as you burn fat, unless the numbers on the scale start to stall, don't adjust the calories down. Eat as much as possible to maintain the muscle mass and slowly burn the fat away. But eating in a deficit is not going to help you maintain the muscle mass alone. And that's why we need to train and train optimally. So every single day your body loses and gains muscle because your body uses it for energy. When we train, we stimulate our body to grow and grow back with protein bigger. And that is why if you don't go to the gym, lift heavy, lift hard, whilst in a calorie deficit, you're likely going to lose muscle, which is not what we want for the outcome. So train each muscle group at least twice per week with sufficient volume of 10 to 20 sets per muscle group. If you get bored or find it challenging and you don't see growth, or you start to lose muscle after 6 weeks, then you can change it up. Ideally though, you wouldn't want to change up a routine. Just like a marathon runner doesn't switch up his running into something else, you want to get better at that particular lift to see progress. And that's going to be the basis of everything that we are trying to do. But the cherry on the top, and the one thing that not many people speak about, is meal timing is more important than most people think. Not only does a meal fuel you for your workout to lift heavy, harder and longer, it's also essential for the repair afterwards. Having one meal a day or not getting all of the right nutrition at the right time can set you all the way back to the start. Instead, plan your meals around your workout. Have one meal 60 minutes before the workout, and that's going to give you more energy to be able to lift harder, heavier and longer, which is everything that we want to maintain that muscle. And then following your workout, you want to consume another serving of protein. The anabolic window is not a real thing, but there is evidence to show that having a meal within 2 hours of a workout is going to help with muscle protein synthesis. And the most important piece of the puzzle is to ensure that you consume enough protein and at every meal, ideally split between 3 and 5 servings per day. And this has come from a study called Protein Ingestion to Stimulate Myofibril Protein Synthesis. A high protein breakfast is superior to skipping breakfast. And that comes from the Journal of Nutrition. And it found that participants who consumed evenly distributed protein across 3 meals had a higher rate of muscle protein synthesis compared to those who consumed most of the protein in 1 meal, which turned out that they not only maintained the muscle, but they were able to gain at the same time. And it also showed that skipping meals or skewing the protein distribution can lead to suboptimal muscle protein synthesis. So the next time someone tells you that intermittent fasting is the key to fat loss, you can show them this exact study. So when you do start to burn off fat, you'll see changes in your composition. It's not always the quickest thing to happen, but after around 6 to 8 weeks, differences in photographs, you'll start to notice differences in the mirror and on photos. And what we want to do is get down to around 10 to 12% body fat. This number is quite low and it's going to make you feel tired, hungry and not be very motivated. But it's going to give us a good runway to start to build muscle. So when we hit that number, we want to change strategy. We want to then start to build muscle, but we want to do it slowly, consistently and properly. With the calorie, we want to bring them back up to maintenance. And then after around 2 weeks or so, start to add in an extra 300 calories per day. The goal here isn't to spill over and get fat. We want to aim to put on around 2 to 4 pounds per month. Any more than that, and you're likely to be putting on too much fat. And when we get to around 15 to 17% body fat, that is the top end of the range. That's going to be healthy, it's going to be ideal. But then we want to change strategy again and start to do it. Then when we hit that 15 to 17% body fat, we want to change strategy again and do a mini cut. Get back down to that 10 to 12% body fat and see how much muscle we've actually put on. And then that's it. That is the routine. When we get down to that 10 to 12% body fat, we want to do the same thing again and start to bulk up, do a mini cut and bulk up. The process then never ends. And that's literally it. Everyone wants to burn off more fat, but there is one exercise that can help you more than any other. And if you want to know what that exact exercise is, just click that video there and I'll walk you through it. See you in the next one.